Let's use what we know about rate of change in terms of the slope of a linear function and apply that in terms of how we actually calculate that rate of change, or in this case of a linear function, a slope. So let's consider the linear function with the particular values, and we're just going to build a little table here. So I'm going to have x values of 1, 3, 6, and 11, and we'll have function values, or f of x values, of 1, -3, -9, and 19. Well, we already know, because we were told it's a linear function, that this linear function will have a constant rate of change, which you defined in algebra as slope. And so that's what we're going to do, is we're going to take this table of values and we're going to go find a slope. Now then, there's some various ways that you learn to do this in algebra. You may graph them and do things like rise over run, but what we're going to do here is we're going to actually use the slope formula, change in y over change in x. That's going to be a really important realization for us here in calculus, is this idea that it's a change in y over change in x. Now then, I can take any 2 points that I want off of this particular table. And so I'm just going to go grab these 2 middle points right here. And rather than just plug them blindly into the slope formula where maybe we label things x1, y1, x2, y2, I really want us to think about it. The change in y is really the change in function values. So really what I have here is f of 6 minus f of 3 over the x values, or the change in x values that I'm using, and that's going to be the difference between 6 and 3. And that may be a way that you've never really seen it before, but it's equating the same idea. And it's really important for you to build a visual that looks something like this here. It's the change in the function values over the change in the x values. Well, now I'm going to do what you probably wanted me to do right away, and I'm going to go ahead and replace this with what f of 6 is, which is -9, minus f of 3, which is -3, all over 6 minus 3, which is 3. And then if we do some computation here, we get -6 over 3, which is -2. And I'm assuming that you already know how to find the slope, or the rate of change of a linear function, but I really want you to take a look at this expression right here and make sure you're very comfortable with it, because things like this are going to come up a lot with what we're doing in calculus moving forward.